G'day folks, Sean here from Air Photography. So a lot of times when I create videos for my channel, the ideas come directly from you guys. Sometimes I get requests to make specific videos, but a lot of times I look through the questions that I've been asked, comments on videos, to see if there's any kind of repeating trends. And one question that has popped up quite a bit over the last couple months is whether the Mini 2 is still worthwhile buying. Of course, the Mini 3 series has been out for about 6 months now, a little bit longer, and it was a little bit easier of a question to answer back then because there was quite a big price difference between the Mini 2 and if you went with something like the Mini 3 Pro. But just before Christmas, DJI released the regular Mini 3 that didn't have some of the Pro features, and the price difference between the Mini 2 and the Mini 3 really decreased. You're looking at just a little over $100 difference. So that makes the decision a little bit harder. Do you spend that extra money and go to something like the Mini 3, or do you pick up the Mini 2 if you can get a really good deal on it? Now, for me, the simple answer is yes, the Mini 2 is still quite relevant even in 2023. This drone is now about 2.5 years old, but when DJI released it, they set the bar actually pretty high. Even many new Mini drones that are released today still have a hard time competing with a 2.5-year-old drone. Of course, it doesn't have some of the features of some of the newer drones such as obstacle avoidance and some intelligent flight modes like tracking. But for a lot of people, they don't use those features and they can be a little bit gimmicky. The core functionality of the Mini 2 is excellent. It has great flight characteristics, has all the built-in safety features that you expect from a DJI drone. At the end of the day, it just flies beautifully, and the video that you can capture on it is quite good. Even though the camera on the Mini 2 is not quite as good as something like the Mini 3, it still actually is a pretty good camera, and the images and video that it can capture are quite good. For the average drone flyer, if you're just a hobbyist, the camera on the Mini 2 is more than sufficient. You'll actually be quite pleased at what it can capture. Now with the Mini 2, you can actually get some pretty good deals on it. I know Costco has a package you can purchase. But not only that, with the release of the Mini 3 series, there's a lot of the Mini 2s that did pop up on Marketplace, some that are in really good condition still, some that have barely been flown. So if you do some looking around, you can actually get a really good deal on a gently used Mini 2. Now, in my opinion as well, this is probably the best drone that you can get for the lowest price if you're ordering directly from DJI. Of course, they have the Mini SE, which is quite a bit cheaper. And again, that's a great little drone for beginners. But with the Mini 2 here, you are getting 4K video and you are getting a much better transmission system. The Mini SE is only a Wi-Fi connection, so you're very limited with range and reliability of that range, especially when you're flying in a place like a Wi-Fi congested city. Whereas the Mini 2 has OcuSync 2, so you're going to get a good amount of range and you're going to get a better signal image transmission, even if you are in a polluted Wi-Fi area. And on top of that, you do have better penetration if you're going to be flying in and around a lot of buildings and trees. Now, if you live in the US, another reason you may want to consider something like the Mini 2 over the Mini 3 or the Mini 3 Pro is that it doesn't have remote ID built into it. Now, I can't speak too much about remote ID as I'm Canadian, so it doesn't really apply to me here. But for those of you who do live in the US, if you don't want to worry too much about remote ID, the hardware just is not built into this drone, so it's something you don't have to worry about. So for some people, that may be an appealing option as well. I've had my Mini 2 now for about 2.5 years. I got it right when it was first released, and I have a ton of flights on this little drone. I've taken it with me on many vacations and adventures, and this thing has never given me a single problem. It's a pretty reliable drone, and that's another nice appealing thing about it is that it's true tried and tested. Most of the bugs were worked out long ago, so that's not really something you have to worry about. So that's basically my opinion. If you are in the market for a drone and you come across a really good deal for a Mini 2, I wouldn't hesitate to purchase it. It's still a pretty solid drone in today's market, and even when you compare it to something like the basic Mini 3, there's really not a lot of difference between the two. Of course, you are going to get a little bit more flight time with the Mini 3. It's got a slightly better camera, but mainly the other specs are very similar. They have the same flight speed, they can handle the same level 5 wind, they both have OcuSync 2, and many other similar attributes. It's one nice thing about DJI drones. When you do purchase them, you know you're going to get good longevity out of it. Even buying a Mini 2 today, you know you're going to get several years usage out of it. On top of that, it does use the DJI Fly app, which is the app that all modern drones are still using from DJI. So you're still getting some benefits of the app being updated, adding enhancements and fine-tuning it. Well folks, that's basically it for this video. Hopefully this helped you out if you did have your eye on the Mini 2 and were wondering if it's still worthwhile purchasing in 2023. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It's always greatly appreciated, and we'll see you in the next one.